Hello and good afternoon and welcome to Ad America with me Hasna Rohani, one of you guys here in Ad America. And for those of you who are new here and have no idea what Ad America is, well, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. Are you ready to jumpstart your career? Yes, absolute yes. So we are ecstatic to announce the AmCham Indonesia Career Fair is back at America. Seize this opportunity to find a job or internship at top companies and gain insights from a discussion with our expertises that we'll be having today on AmCham 7 Career Fair Jumpstart Your Career. You will also get a chance to meet representatives from a variety of American companies to explore current opportunities just for you. But before we begin, let us hear an opening remark that will be delivered by the Managing Director of AmCham Indonesia. Please give a warm welcome to Pak Lin Newman.
Hello, hello. Okay, everybody ready to get a job? Yeah? And the road to getting rich starts with that job, right? And that's how you're going to take care of your families and do great things. And I'm telling you, American companies are great companies to work for, high standards, high values, and you learn a lot. But you have to perform and do well. So what's one of the goals of this particular event, now that's our 7th time we've done this, is to give you a chance to do some mock interviews, have some folks look at your CV, and also talk to those nice people who are out there. So please, when we open up the floor, make a big circle all the way around, because there's a lot of great companies and a lot of interesting opportunities, and a good chance for all of you to ask questions, which is also the way you learn anything. I always tell my daughter, you're not going to know anything if you don't ask a question. And there are no, as we say in the United States, we say there are no stupid questions except the question you don't ask. The only bad question is the question you don't ask. So ask questions. we're here to try to provide answers. There's a lot of helpful, friendly people here. So thank you all very much for being here. I want to just briefly thank our participating companies. Cargill is here, and PepsiCo. There are a couple of our platinum companies here today. Cargill is the world's largest, I think, privately held company. It's the biggest food company you've never heard of, and it's an absolutely amazing company. So if you get a chance to talk to Cargill, you can learn a lot about the food and commodities business. PepsiCo, of course, is PepsiCo. Iconic. Everybody knows that. Some of the other companies that are here are the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies, which is an NGO and think tank. ExxonMobil, one of the big global oil companies, which produces about 20% of Indonesia's energy needs every year. The Jakarta Intercultural School is also here, JIS, one of the best international schools, probably certainly in this region, maybe in the world. It's a really first-rate school. Honeywell is here, major force in engineering and aerospace and all kinds of technology. RSM, the consulting company, is here. In addition, USAID for the first time has a booth out here. So you get a chance to talk to USAID. If you don't know what that is, it's the United States Agency for International Development. And they do a lot of projects and programs in Indonesia on all kinds of things. The Apple Developer Academy is here, which is an absolutely amazing place where Apple takes in developers, coders, people who want to develop their skills in IT, and runs them through a program where they develop apps. There are now 4 or 5 of these Apple Developer Academies in Indonesia. Fabulously interesting and successful program. Colliers, which is real estate, office real estate mostly, they're here. Starbucks is here. Anybody ever heard of Starbucks? Somebody asked me the other day if Indonesia has the most Starbucks in the world, or Jakarta has the most. I'm not sure, but Starbucks is everywhere, including here. And a wonderful company called Vision Ease, which makes eyeglasses, eyeglass lenses, and manufactures here. Very successful American company, which is also here, so you can talk to them. I want to mention a few people who are here. Abraham Lee, the Deputy Cultural Attaché at the U.S. Embassy. Make Abraham feel at home. He's been here 2 months. So he needs to know more about Indonesia. So anybody wants to talk to him, I'm sure he wants to know more about Indonesia. Lauren Clark, the Senior Manager of AmCham, one of my dear friends, is here. Lauren. Our 2 co-chairs for our Education Committee, which is the group that actually helps put this together, I don't think either one of them are here yet, but I do want to recognize Maya Nelson, who's the head of school at Jakarta Intercultural School, and Andrew Winoto, the co-chairs of our Education Committee. And in addition, I just want to thank the many people from AmCham who have volunteered to do the mock interviews and CV reviews. I am one of those people, so be careful. I'm tough. I'm mean. I want results. No, I'm looking forward to meeting some of you in person, and thank you all very, very much for being here. It's great to see such a good turnout. This is probably one of the most fun things we do every year. We really look forward to this event, and it's a great opportunity to meet people in the Indonesian workforce who are looking to move up or move sideways or just get started in their careers. And so it's just great to see all of you here. Thank you so much for being here. Terima kasih banyak. And let's get started.
All right, thank you very much, Pauline, for the wonderful opening remarks. So get connected and ask a lot of questions. And to begin our session, allow me to invite our moderator for today's very special session, the Board of Governors of the American Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, or AmCham Indonesia. Please give a warm welcome to Stephen Waroka.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I want to say happy weekend, but it's not the weekend yet. So happy pre-weekend, everyone. and thank you for joining us today. I was here last year. It was still the peak of the pandemic, and now I can feel so much different energy. I'm really happy to see everyone here. Again, as Lynn said, ask questions, don't be afraid. We have three very distinguished speakers from three different sectors that are going to share with you tips and tricks how to make it in your career. So, without further ado, we have Ibu Gabrielle Angriani, Director of Public Policy, Government Affairs, and Corporate Communications of PepsiCo. We also have Zaid Alami, Country Managing Director of Boeing Indonesia. And we also have Phil Wira, Design Mentor from Apple Developer Academy. So without further ado, please come to the stage, Bu Gabrielle, Pak Zaid, and Pak Phil. Okay, thank you so much. So let's start with Zaid. Zaid, you're the Country Managing Director of Boeing Indonesia. For all of you air geeks, aviation geeks out there, you know Boeing for sure. Even if you're not an aviation geek, you must know Boeing as well. And you must be also curious, how did Zaid make it in his career? How did he get here? Um, can you tell us a bit about your career in aerospace? How has that led you to your current position at Boeing?
Thank you so much, Stephen. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciated the question. Very good question, but I'll answer it in a different way. I'm going to ask you all a question. What does an astronaut, a doctor, an aerospace engineer, a realtor, a data scientist, a graphic designer, and a chef have in common?
Any prizes for whoever gets it right?
Maybe an interview. No, I'm joking.
Okay. I was just checking. Anyone?
They work. Fair. That's a good comment. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Helping people. Grit. Okay, fair. Anybody else? I think the first person answered it. Well, all of you guys answered correctly, but I was interested in the first person's comment. They work, but not only they work, they all work at Boeing. So we hire chefs, we hire astronauts, we hire data scientists, we hire engineers, we hire all kinds of people in the company. We are a very big company. We've been 107 years old, so we started in 1916, and we have 156,000 employees today. Last year we hired 23,000 people, and this year we're approaching 10,000. So with that being said, you know, we're very focused on events like this and connecting with our future talent, and that's really because, you know, we have the need. We are growing. Our markets are continuously expanding, and I'm very proud to share that last year we were named as the #1 internship program in the world, Boeing, and that's open to Indonesians as well. To answer your question more specifically, how I got interested into aerospace, if you guys you know, can tell, I'm very tall, right? I'm more than 2 meters tall, right? But so with that being said, I was very interested in basketball growing up, and I played basketball every day. And in one of my games, I got injured, and which changed my my summer plans. Instead of going to a basketball camp, I ended up going to this aviation school where I started flying at age 15, and that was really what you know, inspired or you know, triggered this aviation bug in me, and I became an av geek ever since. So since that day, I started flying and got interested, and really got interested in how airplanes work. And then I went and followed you know, some of my you know, personal you know, figures that I look up to, and one of which is Neil Armstrong. So I ended up applying to the same university that Neil Armstrong went to, Purdue University, and I ended up studying aerospace or aeronautical and astronautical engineering, and wanted to learn how to design airplanes and rockets and things that you know, move very fast. And that's how I got into the aviation business. And yeah.
So
ahead.
react and adapt. So life is always full of change of plans. So when there's a change of plan, you got to be ready for the next step, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the best advice that I got in my life, especially when I joined Boeing, is to say yes. And as I joined Boeing, as I mentioned, it's a very big company. We have a lot of departments. We're not only an airplane company. We do a lot of things. Actually, we have a lot of people that have never worked on an airplane, have been at the company for more than 30 years. And one of the best advices is saying yes. And that's how I ended up doing so many things, living in 7 different countries with the Boeing company, in engineering, not in engineering, and that really gave me an opportunity to learn more and really fed my curiosity, just to keep going around and learning and seeing how I can contribute back to not only the company but also the community and that I live and work in.
Thank you, Zaid. There's this long-standing argument about book smarts versus street smarts. How much did your educational background support you in your career development?
It's a very good question. So my education definitely helped me get the interview, right? The interesting part is in science or in STEM, it's often the case when you graduate, everything you learned is obsolete because the technology has advanced. But the important thing that you learn from the university is it's not really what you learned. It's the approach of how you think. So I think the best thing that I can summarize about this is being an engineer is not really what you know. It's how you approach a problem that you don't know, and then how you think about it and how you solve it. So it's really about solving problems, and that methodology of solving problems is very important, and that approach to it. And I think, I will ask the rest of the people on the panel to comment later on that if they can, if they agree with my thoughts, or maybe they disagree. But for me, I think it's always how you think and not what you know.
Exactly, and I think that transcends to any sector you're in, right? I'm in a law firm. That actually applies to my work as well. It's not necessarily about memorizing laws and regulations that have like thousands of articles, but how to apply and how to be analytical, how to really think on your feet as well. So I think that really applies to all sectors. So thank you very much, Zaid, for that.
No problem.
And I think my last question for now, before we take questions from the audience, is that based on your experience so far, what is your best advice for those who want to pursue career in aviation?
Thank you. That's a really good question, and we kind of talked about the advice of say yes, but so I'll give you something else. But being curious, I think, is one of the best traits that you can have. But it's very hard to be curious about something you're not passionate about. So I would focus first on defining what your passion is in, looking for that issue, for that item, and in some cases it will take you time, but in others, but to reduce that time, it's really about going and experiencing things, trying different things. Take the risk. Looking at the room, I see a lot of young faces. Take the risk. Say yes. Go do the thing that people think that you can't do. Challenge yourself. Even the things that you think that you can't do, go and challenge yourself. Develop a plan and figure out how you can approach those things. Do those things, and then learn from those experiences. Feed your curiosity, and then move on to the next thing, or if you didn't like what you were doing, or dive deeper and ask those questions. Lynn mentioned earlier, there's no stupid question. I agree. It's always good to ask a lot of questions and network with people, ask them about their careers, do this. Just you being here is following that advice, I believe. So that's what I would say.
So CPD, curious, passionate, and do it. I think that's really good.
Sure.
Thank you, Zaid.
Yeah, I didn't say it, but I'll take it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zaid. Thank you, Zaid. And now let's turn to Mbak Gabriel Anggriani, atau Mbak Gaby, from PepsiCo.
Yes.
I guess everybody knows PepsiCo, but can you tell us a bit about what PepsiCo is? What do they do? I know that you have such a diverse line of business. It's not just about the food and beverage, but please do explain to us. Thank you.
Yeah, but before, I just curious, like, do you know what PepsiCo is? What brand? Tell
Anybody?
me. Pepsi drink, yes, exactly. And then what else?
Doritos?
Doritos, yes. That's pretty much competitor. But yeah, good one, thank you. Yeah, but basically, yes, we are food and beverage, and we are basically in the FMCG
industry. So food and beverage FMCG. Previously, we talked about aviation. Now let's talk about the FMCG. I don't know how interested you are in FMCG, but this is a very like uh, fast moving, different pace and all that. So PepsiCo currently we have operation and in more than 200 countries and territories across the world. So it's a pretty huge company. Now you might ask, is PepsiCo now have presence in Indonesia? Does PepsiCo have presence? Yeah, I would say yes. So just yesterday, like literally yesterday, we had this beautiful groundbreaking event of our first plant, our first factory in Indonesia. So we're going to open a factory for the first time ever in Indonesia, and it's located in Cikarang actually. So this is our first investment, direct investment in the country, and we are very welcome to have everyone interested to join us in different type, different areas of the companies. So we want to create more smiles, make everyone enjoy life with a very good food and beverage product. So it's a very great company, I would say. I mean, when Lynn said that working for American company is so good, I would say yes. I've been working in different type of companies. I've been working in different type of FMCGs, um, both European and now American. I would say the American one is really good. It values human rights. It values you as you. I just joined the company not so long ago, but you know, even as a new person in the company, like my boss always say all the good stuff about me. The leadership team always say all the good things. I mean, this is the company that value human, value you, whatever your strength is. Everyone have everyone have weaknesses, yeah, but we don't highlight that. I would say that we highlight the good part of you. Everyone is different. Everyone is strong, having strength in different areas, and we value that. I mean, we can always build up the weaknesses. It's something that we will learn along the way. So I'm happy that I joined this company, and I really love working in PepsiCo.
And she's not kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I was next to her when Lynn said that American companies are great. She was literally jumping from her seat. So I'm a witness to that. So you were saying that you were going to open a new plant in Indonesia. And can you spill a bit about the timing, or is it still confidential?
So we just helped the groundbreaking yesterday with Minister Bahli Lahadalia. So he's the Minister of Investment in Indonesia. We also have Faridwan Kamil joining to also groundbreak the factory. So this is just the first start. We will start the operation by early 2025, but we already start the recruitment this year actually. There will be a lot of people being recruited both for the factory and for the office. I mean, in office for sure, for FMCGs, you know, we have different type. We recruit marketers, we recruit brand team, we recruit a lot of people to join us just to build PepsiCo presence in Indonesia. I mean, the presence has been strong globally, but in Indonesia, we're just starting.
Okay, thank you. Other than that factory, any other initiatives planned for the local market so far?
Yeah, of course, we want to launch our snack products. Yeah, it's gonna be a surprise. What are the brands? But for sure, it will make you smile, make you enjoy life. We all love snacking, don't we? So it's gonna be something that you will enjoy. We can promise that.
You had me at smile and enjoy life. Other than that, can you share about your time in the food and agriculture sector? What sort of skills are needed to enter into this industry?
So the role that I have now is the Director for Public Policy, Government Affairs, and Corporate Communication. So there's a lot of things that I manage basically. So if I can share with you a bit, so my background is I came from University of Indonesia, majoring in corporate communication. So when I graduated from university, I don't actually know where to work. I don't actually like having ideas. Should I work or should I not working? Should I just get married? Should I just should I just have my bill paid by my husband? So I mean, as a woman, especially, we have that thinking. life is hard. My thinking back then, I should just get married and not working. Yeah, you smile, maybe you have that same thinking like me. But then I think like, oh, maybe there is something else I can do. Maybe I can just juggle in between. Maybe I don't have to sacrifice one another. And that's why I love working for FMCG, especially the multinational one. We don't have to choose between taking care of the kids or taking care of the work. We can do both. I mean, I've been doing it for the past 15 years actually. So the reason why I love FMCGs and the multinational one, because they give us freedom to take care of the family, of the kids, and they give us freedom to aspire, to inspire, to work. So but what most important is, at least for me, this is my way of living. Yeah, I have to enjoy what I do. I have to enjoy my work. Not like 70% enjoying it, but 50-50 for me is fine. 50-50 for me is fine. Like I juggle in between like my work and my personal life, but I try to find the balance. Balance doesn't mean have to be 50-50, 70, 30. It's up to you. Balance is totally up to you, what you feel comfortable. And then the other thing I can really encourage you is that stop comparing ourselves with the other. I mean, other might have a very good career at 26, a very good pay at 26 years old. Me, I don't work until I'm 26. I can be sure that I'm jobless until I believe that God created human different. Everyone have talent, even though it looks small to you, but maybe it's impactful. So value yourself, find what you like, and be good at it, excel at it. For me, I try to be good at communication, public policy, and government affairs. But I do learn sustainability, but I do learn about career coaching, but I do learn other things. So be the best version of ourselves instead of comparing with others. And it's okay if we are running a bit late, that's fine. People got late somehow, that's fine. Okay.
Thank you. When you were saying that when you finished university, you were confused. So if you are experiencing that feeling right now, don't worry, you're not alone. And don't be afraid because we all go through that. So yeah, I see some smiling faces. Don't worry, this is why we're doing this. So please ask the questions. Just be curious, like Zaid said earlier, and hopefully you will find your path. And as Magabi said, each of us have our own paths, right? And each of us have our own pace as well. I still, at this moment, when I look at my Instagram stories, sometimes I also get kind of, jealous with people who are doing their vacations, etc., etc. But then in the end of the day, I have my own way, I have my own path, so it's the same. That applies to us as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think that already covers my next question, which was going to be about the advice. But you already put it very perfectly, so I won't ask the same question again. Thank you, Magabi. Thank you so much. So far, anyone interested in the aviation industry? I see 500 hands over there. It's 50 online. Good. FMCG? 555. Okay, good. That's great. Now, let's turn to Mas Phil Wira. So you are from Apple Developer Academy, and you are a design mentor. So some of you maybe know about it, but maybe a lot of you don't. I'm also curious, what does a design mentor do, actually? So please share with us, enlighten us. What is a design mentor in Apple Academy? Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Is it on? Okay. So Apple Developer Academy is Apple's program that exists in several countries all over the world. There are 3 here in Indonesia, and hopefully the 4th will be coming very soon. Apple believes that everyone can code, but not everyone has the opportunity to learn how to code. And that's why we exist. We teach anyone who wants to create their first app how to code.
So anyone can
simple as
code,
that. Yes.
but opportunities quite rare, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you support young talent as well, right? interestingly, you used to be an architect at Wen Urban Office. So you had a shift of career yourself.
Mhm.
I mean, we're all very curious to hear about that. How did you shift from architecture to being a design mentor?
Okay, so I studied architecture and I worked as an architect here in Jakarta for several years. Uh, but then I start to feel like I'm losing my passion for the craft. And at that time, I was looking for other opportunities, and I found Apple Level Academy. So I'm actually an alumni of the program. I didn't have any background in coding or in tech whatsoever. I joined the program, and after 9 months, I've gained all the things that I needed to actually enter the industry. But they recruited me as a mentor, and since my passion is in education, I decided to join them instead of like working for tech companies like Gojek or Grab.
So can you tell us a bit more about what you do as a mentor? I mean, what do you actually do to the mentees? What do
Uh,
you teach? What do you share?
yeah, we do a lot of things. We teach, of course. We hold sessions. For me as a design mentor, I work closely with the designers to come up with a good to teach them how to come up with a good UI and UX in their applications. Um, we coach them, so we work closely with them to make sure that they use the short time that they have in academy to learn everything they need. Um, we become their friends. We hear their stories. Um, yeah, we do a lot of things.
So very interesting. How far did your education support you in developing this new skill? I mean, obviously you started
Mm,
out as an architect,
yeah.
and then now you're being a design mentor. I mean, it seems like it's totally different from what you learned in the first place. So, did it help you in any way in what you're doing right now?
Yeah, it absolutely does. With design, no matter what you are designing, um, you use the same kind of mindset. It's all about iterations. You hear feedback. You create new versions of your design. So for me, there are some skills that are directly transferable from architecture to UI UX design. But what's im- what I think is more important in that career shift is being comfortable with change. In tech, uh, as I mentioned earlier, technology shift constantly. There are new technology each year, and so you have to be comfortable with change. And I think that mindset is what's important.
That's very good. So be comfortable with change, adapt, and be passionate, be curious. You have your own pace. We have so many good advice so far. Hope you're taking notes as well. And next, what sort of skills and mentality are needed to break into tech? Because these days it's all about tech, right? The tech is the big word, other than sustainability, of course. What sorts of skills and mentality are needed to break into tech? And do you have any stories from your time in Apple Academy that you can share with us?
That's a really good question. I think I mentioned one earlier, being comfortable with change. But on top of that, I think you need to also be comfortable with technology. I think most of you use technology in your daily life and also at work. So, but n- there's this stigma about tech being difficult and complicated. Yeah, it's really is not. once you once you created your first app, you'll see that um, creating an app is just like creating a poem or writing a book. It's n- it it takes work, it takes effort, but it's not out of your reach.
Like anything else in the world, you have to have some effort. You have to do hard work. You have to try to achieve something. So it's nothing unachievable,
Yes.
basically. Thank you so much. So this is the time when you ask questions, audience. You will have the opportunity, of course, for the first question. We have about 20 minutes for a Q&A session. So first asker, maybe can someone give the mic to the gentleman right here? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Rio. I have actually two questions for the speakers today. First of all, I want actually to ask for a little bit of cheat sheet for those who want to do a mock interview. That what are the most, let's say, overrated thing to say when you're asked what are your skills gitu? What can you do? So, for example, if I say I troubleshoot, I solve problems, is that kind of overrated? People hear that all the time, but there's no proof of that. And the second is when Mr. I'm sorry, Will,
Phil.
Phil, yeah, say that you changed career from what you actually learned in a university to something that you didn't learn. Now I'm on the reverse. So my background is international relations, but I previously worked in a tech. I was an AI developer, but now that I have completed my masters, I want to return to my track. So not just for you, but if any other speakers have the tips for that you want to go back to what you are actually passionate about, what are some advices for that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the first question is, what is a very good example of adapt, right? C'est la vie, life goes on, right? Yeah, things like this happen, so no worries. Let's continue then. So the first question was, what's like the most overrated answer when, I mean, all of us are thinking when we do these interviews, what would be something that you think, based on your experience, would be like an overrated template type of response? Anyone, please.
If you want, I'll take
Please, Zaid.
a stab at this. I'm not going to comment on overrated or not overrated. I will comment on what I like to see personally. I do not like interviewing people that have memorized their answers. I want to have a conversation, and I want to see the genuine responses. And you know, a lot of people like to say this is what I did and show it. I'd like to hear more about the attitude and see. You know, I don't hire for what was previously done. I like to hire for the attitude, right? If the person has the right attitude and the right you know, thinking approach, that's a person we want, right? And if even if we don't have the job for that person, right? Even if we're interviewing for you know, an HR person, and we see a person with the right attitude and the way they think, the way they approach problems is something that we like, but they don't have the HR experience that's required for the job. That's okay. We will find a different role where that person can fit. So right. So we love people that can make it happen. MIH. That's what we look for.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think you put it in the right way. Attitude is important. So whenever we interviewed a person, what I like is to understand their passion and the attitude. I mean, there's tons of smart people in Indonesia, I would say. But the one that has the attitude, maybe not 100%. So show that you're that type. I mean that you can fit in the culture, and then you respect people. Show that you're a type of person that learn from mistake. I mean, as employer, we're not looking for people that are perfect. Most of the time, the question that I ask during interview is that show me the time when you made mistake and how you fix that. Are you a type, I mean, based on that, I want to see if this person is a type of person that finger pointing on somebody else. Like, yeah, I made a mistake, but it was my friend, it was not me. Yeah, it happens, right? Like, based on that, I would know the attitude. I mean, this person is the type of person that throw it away to other people. No, I don't want that type of person. We want a type of person that say, I made a mistake, but I learned from it. And this is what I do to fix that. This is what I learned. So that type of attitude is important. So never think that everything has to be perfect until you try to fabricate everything. No, it's not. I mean, as an employer, we are smart enough to know. Okay, so we are smart enough to know. Just don't try to make up things. Yeah.
Thank you. Phil?
Yeah, I would like to add a couple of things on top of that. I agree that attitude is very important. That's actually one of the few things that we look at in our candidates. But on top of that, I think knowing your why is also important. Like knowing why do you want to work here, uh, why we should choose you instead of like the other candidates. I think knowing your why is it's really
So
important.
attitude, knowing your whys, and I think it would be good to do some research as well on your potential employer. I mean, if you know someone who knows someone who knows about the company, it's always good to get some tips as well. I mean, that's just a bit of tip from me as well. And then the second question was when you want to jump back to what you were passionate about in the first place, how do you do that? Maybe starting from Phil.
Mm, that's a really interesting question. I think that it's important to do what you are passionate about because I think that also mentioned it beautifully earlier that it's really difficult to do something that you're not passionate about. So the fact that you're planning to jump back to something you're passionate about, I think is that's amazing. Um, I think how you do that is by creating opportunities for yourself. I'm not familiar with international relations. Is that correct? Yeah. I'm not too familiar in that area, but I think if you create opportunities for yourself to to actually jump back into that um, industry area, um, that's how you do it.
Thank you. But Gaby, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think being passionate is obviously the thing, and the other thing is that if you want to jump back to something in your CV, it has to reflect. Yeah, I mean your CV should reflect, even though it's not a job. For example, if you want to jump back into internal relation, public policy, those kind of type, it should reflect that you did some research on those things, or you did some volunteering in those area for election, for whatever. I mean, there's a lot of volunteering in that area. Although it's not a job, but like type of activities that reflect your interest. Sometimes it's hard. I mean, I must say it's hard to find job opportunity yet. I mean, sometimes we don't have the job yet to show that we have that interest, right? But make something like volunteering here, volunteering there, or even in campus, even in whatever thing, or I make a writing a paper on this, blah 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 blah. Those kind of things can help, you know. Those kind of things can make employer trust that, okay, background is good, although they don't have the job yet, but background is suitable. Yeah.
Thank you, Gaby. In the end, you have to also show it in your CV or whatever you're submitting that you are not just not just by saying it, but you have to prove it, right? First impressions matter. Zaid, anything to add?
No, it's okay. It is now. I'll be very brief. If the question is about how to move back to something that you're passionate about, all I will say is I'll steal a saying from another American company: just do it.
Well said. Very well said. Just do it. Thank you. Hope it answers your questions. Thank you. Any other? Okay, we see a lot of hands. I think let's go to the Ibu Risata, yeah, please. Ibu. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to asking for to the speaker. So my name is Vira. I'm previously a brand manager for the FMCG healthy company. And then what I want to ask to the speaker is I'm mostly changing my career. I'm starting from the analytics and then I'm turning to creative director and then I ended up in to the brand manager. So I really want to living the American dream. So the question is, does the American company really care about the people who jump into the career to the career? And then the next is like, would you advise me, should I like still in the, the field of my career or just the industry? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe Mbak Gaby, you can answer
Yeah.
first.
I would say it pretty much depends on what you want. It's really what you're passionate about. For me, I mean, just giving you example, I don't basically end up as just like director in PepsiCo. I previously worked in other FMCGs, but also I work in different type of companies, like energy management company. I worked before in even tahu nggak apa tempat konser Ice BSD. It's very different than what I do now, right? So I jump different job. Jadi nggak harus, it doesn't have to be that the same. I mean, it's not like, oh, I have to stay in FMCGs all the time. Sometimes, to be honest, yeah, sometimes we made silly decision. We choose wrong job type. It happens, but it's fine. It's part of our growth. It's fine. You don't have to remove it from your CV unless it's only like 1 month. Yeah, it's okay. You can remove it for 1 month. But it's worth it about what you learn there. I mean, I thought I gonna end up in mice industry, but then what brings me to FMCG is that during my job in that mice industry in ISBSD, I go to a lunch. My boss asked me to go for a lunch with few ministers. So I end up in a lunch with the ministers. And I took photo of it. Foto itu penting ya guys. So I took photo with all those big names. I post on my LinkedIn, and then not long after that, recruiter from FMCG asked me if you are interested to join government affairs. See, it's funny. It's funny how it works. It doesn't have to be the same. But whatever opportunity you get there, just take it and make it as part of your growth. Yeah? So there should be some red lines in everything. So back to your question, do you have to stay? Do you have to whatever? It depends on what you want. For me, I'm a type of person that whatever opportunity I see fit me, comes with good pay, reasonable pay, I'll take it. I'll take it. And I learn from it and I grow. So all of a sudden, I'm in this FMCG world. So after from ISBSD, I was joining that government affairs thing, right? From that, I met a lot of networks in the association. And then in the association, I met with director from Nestle. It's another FMCG. And then she said, join me. So I joined, right? So you will meet different people. You will meet different person. So just make networks, build it. Don't overthink, don't think too much. Gak usah terlalu berat mikirinnya kayak, pokoknya kalau yang bisa diambil, ambil aja dulu. Selama halal, selama seru gitu ya. Karena dipikirin tuh nggak habis-habis. Kita nggak pernah tahu jalan hidup kita gitu ya kan. Siapa tahu malah ketemu jodoh gitu. We never know. So just take it. Just as long as it's reasonable, just take it.
Thank you so much. I hope we added subtitles for that statement earlier. But Zaid, you want to add anything?
I'll quickly add a couple things. So, for me, in my opinion, it doesn't matter as much of what you've done in the past. It matters of what you want to do and what you're going to do for our company. So I would focus more of the conversation if you want to switch careers or switch is what are you going to do for that industry or for that company, right? So and if you're passionate about it, you know, it comes back to passion. You're going to drive that. Yeah, I and then additional thought is you asked about the swapping career or jobs versus industries. In the same industry, you know, the first question I asked when I started this session is, what does an astronaut and a chef have in common, right? And they both work at Boeing. So in the same company, in the same industry, a lot of American companies are also very big and have opportunities in different careers. I know many people that I work with that have gone from, I'll ask you, I'll give you an example. One of my colleagues started at Boeing sweeping floors in the factory. And she's today one of the leaders in our learning organization that plans how we're going to develop our future workforce. And between those two jobs, she's had a lot of other learning opportunities. And I'll ask you this as well. I don't know if some of you maybe know that story, but President Kennedy in the United States once visited NASA, and he walked up during the tour of the NASA facility. He walked up to a janitor that's cleaning the facility, and he asked him, "What are you doing?" And the gentleman responded, "I'm putting a man on the moon, sir." Right? So even the janitor believed in that mission of the company and what they're doing, and every single person in that organization is valuable to get that company or that organization to where they want to be. So I would say again, is if you're passionate about a specific goal, find the company that shares a goal with you, and if there's no company that shares that goal, then start it. Right? You go to be that company and find like-minded people around you to hire and work together.
Thank you, Zaid. In the end, organizations are collective efforts. Everyone has their own roles, so everybody matters. Phil, anything to add?
Yeah, I've never imagined it. One day I'm going to work for Apple. I didn't plan out this. I studied to be an architect. It didn't work out. But it's all about being adaptable. I think like things that you've learned in the past will always be useful to you, no matter what you do. I learned to work with people, with clients, with deadlines. Those are all applicable skills in any job. So it doesn't matter if you jump from one industry to another, as long as you can identify the things that you've learned along the way.
Life is just a learning process.
Yeah.
It's a long learning process, and you learn new things every day. Thank you. Hope it answers your question. So we still have time for a couple of questions, probably, or one last question. Okay. So we already did this side, that side. So let's go to this side. On the top, at the top, right there. Yeah. With the hat. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask a question. I'm currently looking to transition to something related to data science or machine learning. I'm currently a programmer. So I would like to know from the recruiter's point of view or manager's point of view, uh, should I resign to do side projects in machine learning, or should I instead apply to other companies, probably with smaller brands than what I'm currently in order to get more matching job description? Uh, I'm looking to transition, and at my current company, it's kind of difficult to transition to that specific job description.
Okay. Can I just repeat your question so that everyone is clear?
Oh, okay.
So transitioning to a new job, to something bigger.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to chase the market demand. It seems to me like today's trend is all about AI, and I'd like to transition to that field.
And the question is whether or not you should start from
Yes.
relatively smaller companies, or
Yes, in order to pursue that job description, or should I resign to do projects, or what are the better options?
and you currently now have a job. So the
Yeah,
question is
yeah,
whether
yeah.
to resign or to pursue other
Yes, yes.
avenues. Anybody would like to
So,
respond
so
to that?
you have a job, but you want to move to different type of job.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I don't know. In my personal opinion, um, I wouldn't suggest that you resign first. If me, I would suggest that you build the portfolio to get into that type of job. Now you're a programmer, you want to be an AI expert? Yeah. So build that um, learning on AI, finish some course on AI while still having your job. Um, that's my view because being jobless is sometimes can be stressful. No one pays for your bill unless someone else will do. But you can go to work in the afternoon and then at night you can learn something else or find project in AI, then put it all in your portfolio or just as simple as joining some group of AI people, do some project in it. So that's my advice. But I mean, different people have different opinion. If you think that I'll be better ending up this job, I just gonna move. If you feel comfortable with that, by all means, but I'm not suggesting it.
Thank you, Bagabi. Phil, any ideas, any suggestions?
Yeah, I don't think I can answer that question for you. I think that is a question that you have to answer for yourself. But instead, I would like to ask you a question. Why AI? Is it because it's like the newest thing? Like in 5 years, in 10 years, there will be a newer thing. Will you jump to like another thing then? So I think you need to find your reason first, because otherwise, whatever you're working on, whatever industry you're doing, I don't think you'll be happy there.
Thank you, Phil. That's very realistic
Yeah.
from my point of view. Zaid, anything to add?
Sure, I think Phil stole my thunder. I was going to ask you the same question, why AI? But I'll ask you another question. What do you think? I mean, this is really a personal question, right? So I'll ask you, what do you think, and let you think about that, and think also brainstorm a little bit about your current job. Is there a way that you can make your current job adapt to what you're interested in? So once you identify why AI, like Phil asked you, I would start to say, okay, this is why AI. Then can I make my current job match or fulfill that need that I feel is necessary? And if the answer is yes, then go do that. If the answer is no, then go back to the question I asked you. What do you think?
Thank you, Zaid. And hope it answers your questions, at least for now. Maybe some soul searching to be done, but at least for now, hopefully it answers your question. So we are out of time. Zaid, Bagebi, Phil, thank you so much for your time. This was really, really insightful. Again, if I have to sum up, please a round of applause for all of the speakers. Passionate, curious, adapt, be realistic, never give up. I think we've heard so many good advice today. Thank you so much once again, and best of luck in all what you're doing, your expansions, your careers, anything you're doing in the future. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who are here with us today. Please have fun in this career fair. It's a very good place to be. If you're curious about career paths, etc., this is the right place to be. So thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of the day and take care. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much to all speakers along with our moderator, Pa Steven. Thank you so much, all speaker, for sharing your personal stories and also new insights, new horizons. And also thank you, Pa Steven, for navigating the session. And what we can take from this discussion is that be comfortable with change and always keep evolving, and don't forget to make a room for us to grow by learning new skills that allows us not only to be able to survive but also thrive for the upcoming years. So thank you so much again, everyone, for attending this event. If you find yourself enjoying this event, don't forget to subscribe to be our member in our website at www.atmerica.org.id. And if you have any event ideas, feel free to submit your ideas through our website, and we will make it for you. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at IT America. And also, you can rewatch our previous programs on our YouTube channel at IT America. With that, it is time to say farewell. Don't forget to make connection, and also you get a chance to meet the representative from the American top companies. So make sure you use this opportunity. And thank you so much, everyone. Again, my name is Hasna. See you on the next at America event. Bye bye, everybody.